Hi, 7th grade. Welcome to Lesson 2, Quotation Marks.
I hope everyone is having a really good time, getting your work done, finding fun ways to stay active, and keeping up with all your lessons.
That you still have this class, and I don't think I have everyone's work from last week either. Everything's due tomorrow, so get working.
Don't just wait until the last minute. If you have some kind of technical difficulties, you're going to want to let me know today.
I have Google Hangout every day from 1 to 2, and you can email me any questions, and I'm pretty good at getting right back at you. So let's get started on using quotation marks. So using quotations or quotation marks, it says grade 7/8 because it depends on the year who I cover it with. But you guys are so far ahead of the game, we're going to start with using quotations in 7th grade. So hopefully that you know that quotes are used to show exactly what someone is saying. You may know that they're used to show a special element or to indicate sarcasm. In texting, a lot of times people have asked for a sarcasm font, but you can put your words in quotes and that will indicate sarcasm. They are also used to write the title of a short work, magazines, songs, poems, stories, essays, articles, but they are never used for emphasis. Notice I bolded and I underlined. That can be emphasis, but not quotes. Remember, quotes are for sarcasm because when you use quotes for emphasis, people in the know will read it as sarcasm. So something like I'm doing the air quotes like you can actually see me. We also have other movies available, still doing it, as salesperson for what's available. Wow, it's really hard not to actually do it while I say it. Security guard, and actually maybe this one's apropos because it looks like he's sleeping in there. You know, he's not so secure. Or beware of the dog. Like, oh, I don't know. I actually am kind of aware of what is happening back there. What kind of weird hybrid animal are you hiding? Assorted umbrellas. Employees must wash hands. Ooh, timely and inappropriate. This is awful. I'd probably turn around. Please wait here to be seated at the sushi bar or table. Also pick up for takeout. If that was Miss Good, she would definitely turn right around. She can't eat somewhere that has spelling or grammar mistakes. It's a Small World. Now, technically, that is the title of a song, so I will allow it, but I don't think they were actually that dramatic. And please don't eat the cheeseburgers. I shoot people and pets. Now, that one, okay, is probably a quote, but again, we probably should be going back to our comma lesson here somehow. So, modern day quotation marks are the word bubbles in text. So when you get those little word bubbles, you know that it's what someone else is saying or what you are saying. But if we had to write this out in a story, we would write it like this, with attribution. Quote, I don't know how to make you forgive me, Jeanette said. I apologized 1,000 times. What more do you want? So that tells me exactly what Jeanette said. And then, actions speak louder than wombats, autocorrect replied. Joe said, ha ha ha, words. That was funny, but I'm still really mad at you. So the quotation marks, again, just each time someone talks. Notice the attribution in the first paragraph is in the middle. In the second, it's at the end. And at the third, it's at the first. So let's talk about what is attribution. Attribution is a really boring, long grammar word for he, she, blank said. It's when you attribute the quote to someone who said it. So you might say she said, she groaned, he cried, he whispered. I always try to remind people that when you're writing dialogue, if you've written said more than 2 times in a paragraph, find a better verb. It gives your character more depth and it helps your writing from being repetitive. So take a look. You always have the quotes with some kind of punctuation before or after the attribution. The first one, the comma's inside the quote. Down at the bottom, you have comma inside the quote, comma after the attribution. You need to make sure we do this. I really want to call close attention to this fourth one, and we're going to talk about it a lot. Whenever the attribution is in the middle of a sentence and it interrupts the sentence, So for example, the sentence is, the word attribution literally puts me to sleep. That L, notice that L in literally is lowercase. iPads auto-correct it wrong. If you were to try to type this sentence on your iPad, it would capitalize the L, and that is wrong. If it's a new sentence, sure, but if it interrupts a sentence, it has to be lowercase, and that's something that Mr. Apple and I need to speak about sometime. So if you're bored and you want to have a little, a little challenge for yourself, grab a sheet of paper and a pencil or a whiteboard, pause this, and I have a bunch of cartoons coming up, and we're going to, if we were in class, I'd stop and I'd have you each on your whiteboards write down a quote, what you think one polar bear said to the other, and to use quotation marks as attribution. Fortunately, we're not together right now, so go ahead, pause this video, and the three of you who actually do it, go get your piece of paper and your pencil, and pause the video and write down in quotes what you think this one polar bear might be saying to another. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee because it's early in the morning. Okay, if you're back, here's what the polar bears actually said. Quote, oh hey, I just love these things. Crunchy on the outside and a chewy center, end quote. And then hopefully you wrote something like, munched the polar bear, or cried the polar bear. Notice that you have your exclamation point inside the quote. We're going to talk a lot about punctuation in quotes and where it goes. So sometimes you may want to start the sentence with a quote. You want to make sure that you put what they're saying directly in quotes and that punctuation goes inside. So even if it's this question mark, also think of dinner. Stuffed bell peppers? Question mark, Nathan asked. So notice if that sentence ends, also think of dinner, stuffed bell peppers with a question mark or an exclamation point, that's fine. If that sentence would end with a period, what we usually do is put a comma and then say, Nathan asked. Sometimes you might want to split the quotation. Now this is what I was talking about before, but this sentence can stop. Oh, thank you, is one sentence. I stammered. It's just what I always wanted, is the second sentence. Look at all that punctuation, commas inside the quotes, comma after the attribution, I stammered, period inside the end of the quote. If only the direct quotation is a question, the question mark goes inside the quotes. So for example, what is that? Question mark, she asked. Notice the question mark in the first one is inside the quotes. And even if the quote comes at the end of the sentence, she asked, what is that? That question mark goes inside the quotes. She asked is not a question, it's a statement. You would not put a period after it, it just ends the sentence there. That would be a fine way to do that. So look at these two, see where the question mark goes because we're going to try it in a second. So what do you think this teacher is saying? Use quotation marks and a question mark. So what might she be saying? Go ahead and try to pause it and write down a little quote again. See how you do. Okay. Young man, do you really expect me to believe that your homework ate your dog? Our quotation marks will go before the why and after the question mark. Now, obviously, I'm not asking that you guess exactly what she was saying, but perhaps your sentence has something that she's asking him, like, why did you bring a fish to school? And you would put your quotes there. Now, this is where it gets tricky. If both the sentence and the quotation are questions, the question mark goes outside of the quotes. So when you take a look at this first example, did you hear her ask is a question. Did you hear her ask? I could put a question mark there. And then inside the quote is also a question. Where is my computer? So now the question mark goes outside because it acts as the ending for both. We don't use this a ton, but that is 100% correct. So what might one dog be asking another? Go ahead and give a pause, see if you could try writing a question attribution or a question sentence and then a question quote. It's tricky. What he's actually saying is, did you hear the dog say, I'm no fan of technology. Have you noticed how difficult it is to eat homework these days? So the important thing is that, or the easy thing is periods and commas always go inside quotes. Whether it's at the beginning, whether it's at the end, just make sure that you have enough before or after the attribution. I wish my mother didn't have a cell phone, comma, side again. She is driving me crazy. Because that period is inside the quotes. Now, if you're getting really fancy and you're quoting what someone else has directly said, you would use single quotes. Then he said, my last girlfriend told me, you use too much mousse in your hair. What do you think? So you have a single quote for you use too much mousse in your hair because he's quoting what someone else says. So let's give it a try. What might the mother be trying to say? I just thought this was funny. Don't forget that when you have a dialogue, that you always skip. No, you always make a new paragraph when someone else is talking. It's time, he whispered, for the bananas to have their sweet revenge. Oh, sorry, I ruined the joke. Let's try it again. It's time, he whispered, for the bananas to have their revenge. Will it be sweet revenge? I asked sheepishly. Will you take this seriously? I have a mini chainsaw, the tiny banana roared. So every time someone new speaks, you start a new paragraph. So give yourself a little pause. See if you can write a 3 to 4 sentence conversation between two people discussing what you think this is. Use quotation marks and begin a new line each time someone speaks. Go ahead, give it a shot. Pause this and try. Okay. Now, hopefully you have a nice little conversation. You've used lots of different attributions. Take a look at your work. Does it say she said, he said, he said, she said over and over again? Make sure you're using some different attribution words. And for those of you who are curious, these are cashews. This is how a cashew grows. It's actually a fruit. So, I have a little mini assignment along with your other bigger assignments for today. What is your favorite quote? I've been doing a lot of these videos, and at the end of them, I've tried to put little inspirational or fun quotes, and I'm curious as to what some of your quotes are. So I want you to, you can always look it up too, if you can't remember it right off the top of your head. I want you to go to the comment section for this assignment and use attribution and quotation marks, and let us know your favorite quote. Okay, that's it for today. Don't forget, reach out. I want to hear from everybody by today, even if it's just a quick email that you're on top of things.
So yeah, have fun, stay safe, and we'll all see each other again soon. Bye.